What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and I thought we would talk a little bit about the current fusion that is going on for Hurndig, the dwarf attacker. It's in full swing now. We've been at it for about a week, and we have just a little over a week left in the fusion. So if you guys haven't really been going after it, it's probably a little too late, but you might still be able to grab a couple of the champions involved. And what I actually wanted to talk about today specifically was for newer and closer to mid-game accounts. There's a couple of rare champions in this fusion that I think are really awesome if you are not going to be able to get any of the epics or go for the legendary. I think the good epics here have probably been covered quite a bit in general. They're all pretty solid, but I think the best two are probably, I think it's Horfreeze and then Skathix. Both look pretty solid. Now on my main account, I've already got Siege Hulk and Horfreeze here, and I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to actually go for the dwarf. It's always good to go for the legendary if you can. I've been kind of burned out on the fusions, not quite sure if I really want to go after him. My dwarves are in pretty good shape. I'm on Dwarf Faction Wars 21. I just have to do a bunch of regearing to be able to get through that final stage of it. And he's not really a champion that's going to help my account out that much. I've got a lot of champions that do the same things that he does already. So main account though, probably going to end up getting him. It's just gonna, we'll see how the events play out the rest of the week. But on my free-to-play account, there's a couple of rare champions that I really wanted to go for. I also really like this epic here, Gory. I really want to try to get, I was trying to get him on my main through the Sacred 2X this past weekend, but didn't get him to drop, and I'm still debating whether or not I want to keep him. I'd already got a copy of this guy, and I can fuse another one from one of the events, so, and this guy will be available from an event as well instead of having to fuse him, so there's a chance to get a couple duplicate copies here, but I really wanted an extra copy of this guy because he's got a really interesting kit that has some freeze mechanics I think might play well with some other champions, but that was going to be for a different video later on. But let's get down to it. I wanted to talk about these rares. Now this is going to be aimed more at the newer accounts. If you're free to play, if you're a mid-game account, there's two rares here in particular I think that can really help you depending on what stage of your account you are at. Like one of these, I'm going to grab my free-to-play for sure. And the two I'm talking about specifically are Assassin, who is a magic Shadowkin champion, and then Michaelis, who is a Void champion. And the Void champions are usually the ones you want to make sure that you can get a copy of, since they're going to be harder to get, since Void shards are harder to come by in the game, especially if you're not spending money. And he is Organ Tribe's support champion that has a really solid kit that I think is being overlooked a little bit, and he's a very unique champion I think can help out a lot of people. So let's actually just go right into it, and we will take a look at these two guys. I have them on my main account here. I've already got several copies of these guys ready to go for the fusion. If we can find them here, I'm gonna scroll down quite a ways. And okay, we'll start with Michaelis, since he is the Void, and I think he is the best rare in this bunch. It's kind of nice to see this because it's been a while since we've had some good rare champions that are new into the game that can help some players who are still developing their accounts make a big difference. So first off, he is a support champion. Void, of course, so that's very good, no weak affinity there. And he's got some really unique skills. His A1 actually is a heal. It heals him by 30% of the damage that is inflicted. So every time he attacks with his A1, he's going to heal himself a little bit, almost like a built-in lifesteal mechanic there with his kit, which is really cool. And as a bonus, it also heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of their maximum HP. It doesn't affect him, but it will heal the ally with the lowest HP on the team, which is pretty cool. It takes 5 books. It's all damage, so really, you know, that's going to be helpful, but you're not really necessarily going to need all those books there. The A2 is Fungal Privilege, places a shield buff on him for 2 turns, equal to 20% of the max HP, and then places a 25% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also heals all allies except him by 10% of their max HP. So again, you're going to get a heal there with little utility on the A2. Ally protection is always a good skill. And then you can also book this to where it's on a 3-turn cooldown with a 2-turn ally protection, which is pretty cool. And then you can also book it for an extra 15% heal. So this is where you would want the books to go on him. Either way, 9 books is not bad at all for a new champion in this game, as the booking situation has gotten kind of crazy with some of the other rares and epics lately, especially the legendaries. But this guy is pretty solid, doesn't require a lot of books. Actually, I don't really think you need any of his books, except maybe if you could get this cooldown here for him to be effective for you, especially if you are a newer or earlier game account. He's also got this passive, which decreases the damage all allies receive by 5%. He instead will take that damage. So that's kind of cool. You can pair that with some things on the defensive tree to really make him a nice solid tank for your team, which of course you're not going to have to worry about affinity, so you could use him in dungeons. I'm thinking Faction Wars for this guy would be really solid because he's got that heal on the A1, and that's actually where I'm probably going to use him if I wind up keeping a copy of him, because my Organ Tribe's Faction Wars needs a lot of work, and he would definitely be helpful. And then his aura is going to be ally defense and faction curse by 21%, which is always a decent aura for Faction Wars there. So really great looking champion overall. I really like this guy's kit. I think his kit is almost borderline epic, and I think this is like one of the better rares we've had introduced into the game in quite a while. So the way I'm thinking I'd build him is just straight up tank. You really don't need any accuracy in his build at all, which is nice. You want to probably go for 100% crit rate, see as much damage as you can get out of him, but your primary would want to be HP and defense, and then try to put that crit rate and damage on him and see how much he can do there. His damage is based on attack, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But just that A1 is the only thing you're going to be hitting with, so constantly getting a heal off that is pretty cool. So I think Michaelis is the best rare out of this bunch, and if you're not going to be able to get all the epics, if you're not going after the legendary, definitely want to keep a copy of this guy and build him up. He's going to be a solid tank on your account if you're a newer player or in the early and mid game. I think this guy can help you out quite a bit. Now the other guy I wanted to go over, and this is more for an earlier player, is Assassin. Now he's a Shadowkin. He is a magic affinity attack champion. I just like this guy because he looks cool and he's got the size, which Raphael was one of my favorite Ninja Turtles. That was the weapon he had, so it's just cool by default. I love the Shadowkin faction. They all look really, really cool. Great designs on all of them, really cool looking weapons on all these guys, and so that's kind of like aesthetically they're one of the better looking factions in the game, I think, and that's kind of one of the reasons I like their champions. But this guy has got a pretty good kit as well, and the place he's going to excel is going to be in the clan boss. And I know it's tough early on, you're struggling in clan boss, hard to get those champions to drop. Well, here's a chance to get a guy guaranteed from some of these events who's going to definitely help you out in your clan boss team if you're struggling. Now his A1 is King's End, attacks one enemy with a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for one turn. So poison debuff on the A1 is good. It means every time he attacks, he's got a chance to land that poison on the clan boss, and you can actually buff this up to a 75% chance that he will land that, and you can also put a little bit of damage on there. Lingering Death is the A2, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the enemy by one turn. Again, this is really solid for extending those debuffs that you're putting on the clan boss, especially like attack down. You want to keep that up on the clan boss as long as possible. You can get this down to a 3-turn cooldown with books, and you can also get the chance to land up to 75%. So, pretty typical kit for a rare, but just really good abilities in general to use against the clan boss. His only drawback, honestly, in my opinion, is he does take a lot of books. That seems to be the biggest issue with him, but can still be very helpful for you. Then he has the A3, Drought of Sleep. Attacks one enemy with a 75% chance of placing a 15% weaken debuff for 2 turns, so it is the weaker version of weaken, but that's also a good debuff to have on a clan boss, and something you may not have early on in the champions you are using. So again, unfortunately, 6 books on the A3, so that's kind of tough. And he does have the aura for all speed in battles by 10%, which can be useful early in the game, but you've probably already got a Spirit Host or a Haikatoon to help you out with that. But I think this guy for clan boss, excellent champion for that on an early level account, and probably, in my opinion, the second best rare you can get out of this bunch. The other two are not bad. I just, don't really think they're worth making that much of an effort to go after. But definitely, this assassin guy, if you're a newer early account, definitely going to help you out in clan boss. And then Michaelis for the Organ Tribes is just going to, in general, be a great champion for your account. And pretty cool design on him with all the little mushrooms hanging off his body everywhere. So pretty cool. Anyways, I love to cover champions like that for most of the people that watch my content are usually earlier game, free to play in a lot of cases. So I kind of like to show off some of these champions other people may not be thinking of going after. And you do have still a little bit of a chance to get both of these guys from the events. Michaelis is currently offering in the artifact enhancement that is going to start today, here in a couple hours actually. And there will also be a spider tournament to grab him in starting on the 17th. And then if you look at Assassin, you've got a chance to get him here still in the Ice Golem tournament, also in the active Dungeon Divers, and there will be a Summon Rush. He'll be available as well. So you've got 3 chances to grab him. If you're on a new account, you haven't really been going after the fusion, a couple of really good chances to grab these guys in these last 2 events coming up. So I would definitely suggest giving it a shot and seeing if you can get either one of those guys to help out your account. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to leave it down below, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you may have. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again next time.